Hello and welcome. My name is Esther. I'm an artist, spiritualist, healer. I do many things all around the world, and this is just another way that I assist the collective. Ultimately, these messages are just purely general energy. So if it resonates with you, it's for you. And so today I just wanted to see what comes out about working your light. So if you're someone that has gone through a lot of shadow work, perhaps you're transforming this year, essentially we're going to find what messages from spirit in your utilizing your voice and how to move forward, how you can work your light for the highest capacity of your soul's destiny, and what's kind of coming through in your forward movement and just not being afraid to really step into that light. So 3 popped out here. Wow. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Incredible. So you're certainly being called, and you're certainly now kind of finding that place in yourself where maybe you're obtaining the courage to move forward because you've done the work. You've probably transformed quite a lot this year, and you've really gone more inward to really understand the self, understand your path forward, what it is your voice wants to communicate, what it is that your soul and your spirit wants to experience and do in this world. Because to be spiritual just means to move in harmony with all the changes. It's about remaining steady and peaceful within that calm, regardless of what you're moving through, whether it's challenges, obstacles, joy, or what have you, right? It's a lot like what Amma says, where it's about, even if, regardless in your day, you can either cry or laugh, right? But your day is still going to happen, so you may as well laugh. You may as well find the joy in it. You may as well move through obstacles and challenges with grace, with ease, and with honor of what they're teaching you and how you're able to navigate through it without absorbing and taking on all the external noise and the chaos, because there's a lot of that right now, as we know. So with Warrior Woman, this is really about where you're finding how you've grown and how you're now emerging into the new. You also say, wow, Starseed, what lights you up? So this is very explorative, a lot with the moon and the dreamy, looking to new horizons, really discovering new places, new lands, striving forth in freedom, in courage, in resilience to really bloom and collaborate with others and work your light and your magic in the earth and in the world for the communities, for others, to utilize your voice, perhaps as a guide, a teacher, a healer. But ultimately, a starseed and a spiritual person, we become the greatest healers by whom we are and how we vibrate, how we reconnect with the earth, how we harmonize with our communities, with others, how we show gratitude, peace, and harmony, right? And then you also got Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Wow. So this is a powerful reading already with the baseline of your oracles. You are certainly someone who is needed in the world, so your light is meant to be shone. And you may be feeling like you've had this pull and you've had this call for a long time. Perhaps this year you've had experiences of a lot of loss or uprootedness or change. And that was really to redirect you into where you're meant to go. So those shadow periods, those deep falls, those ego deaths, all of those elements of the resurrecting of the true you were necessary to not only strengthen you in your work and where you're going to be a guiding light and a help for others, but also to recalibrate you, to move away the old so that it can make room for the new energies and the new horizons. So you may even feel that you're being called to travel or to explore to new lands, to find where your voice can be heard, where your community and your dream locations really are. So starting with Warrior Woman, we're going to pull a little tarot on some guidance for you and what you can kind of, some guidance and some clarity on that. So have you answered your deepest calling? So where are you being called? Thank you, Spirit. Wow, it's really flying out now. Oh, that was a lot of cards. Okay. We'll take them. But wow. Clearly it's important and Spirit has a lot to say. So we will certainly go through this here. So, oh wow. A lot of past, right? So a lot of past energy here. You've got the Devil, a lot of pain, a lot of hardship, walking away. So first of all, you've got the Three of Swords. This is a lot to do with heartbreak, betrayal, feeling lonely, and this can be really hard because ultimately you may have been in a place in the past where things were comfortable, but you were stuck. You were no longer growing. You were no longer able to fully express or shine your light in the way that you really hoped and wanted to. Nor were you maybe in the environments that, or the community maybe even, that really held you in the way you needed to be held. And that can be really challenging. And perhaps you were always the kind of the guide or the leader in that, and you didn't really have anyone else to be a guiding force for you, a strengthening for you, to kind of grow you or guide you or teach you in an amplified way. And so now you're in a place of wanting to connect to more like minds that are on the same stream as you, right? So Three of Swords is a lot of pain and loss and grief, and where you've had to either let go or the universe has forced you to let go of different possibly relationships, communities, environments, that like this is a lot of heartache and separation and sadness in this energy of the Three of Swords, right? And it's feeling really lonely. And so you may feel quite alone. And even when you're around others, you feel alone because you feel different and you don't feel like you really fit. And maybe in the past, you tried really hard to fit or to feel accepted. But really, it was ultimately the learning of accepting yourself. And because once you come home, these elements of your past too, of this pain and this sorrow, were really teaching you how to come home to you and how to accept you and how to learn self-love within you, because you can't search for that outside of yourself. You have to have that wholeheartedly within, and then those who are meant for you will honor that, appreciate that, and you won't feel like you have to explain or feel uncomfortable in expressing your voice or your magic or your wisdom in certain circles. So this is where things are shifting to bring you to more of an aligned soul tribe, but also, especially the most vital part, is inner alignment and feeling safe in your voice, feeling safe in your intuitive capacities, because you hold a light that is very needed. And as the warrior woman, this is very high honor. It is about stepping into your deepest calling without fear. So this is a very much a resilience building chapter. This is where all this crumbling, all this pain, all these tears, all this loss was actually, the upheaval, the grief, the sorrow it's really to bring you back into harmony, right? So you may have felt really like there was a lot of upset and disorder and chaos and uprootedness and loneliness and uncertainty and feeling incredibly alone, but it was really to strengthen your own being, to retain the remembrance that first and foremost, you're not ever alone. And secondly, that you are more than capable to carry yourself. You are resilient. And there's a lot of help around you, because this is also to do with the Five of Pentacles also came out with the past. This is, and it's also a lot of distractions. You may have been so distracted by external energies, a lot of chaos in the earth, especially if you're highly sensitive. So with the hardship of the Five of Pentacles showing this past of what you had to walk away from or work with within the shadow body, within your internal work, this is about, like, the Five of Pentacles can be like feeling blocked in your communication, feeling like you're not heard, like what you're trying to say and express is not being received, and where it's like adverse change to circumstances and feeling left out in the cold, right? Feeling isolated outside of the tribe, feeling left out in the cold from partnerships or losing homes or losing, perhaps even going through divorce or separation or change in relationships, change in family dynamics, change in work or even home life or even location. And it's about, yeah, that you felt probably a lot of abandonment and rejection from places that used to hold a lot of safety and security for you. You felt really thrown out and really left out in the cold. And it may have made you behave or act or react in not the greatest of ways. And that's where you had to go inward, taking accountability of your own actions and reactions of your own inner pain. Right? So sometimes that can mean like being really hurt and then reacting in not the highest of ways. And then that coming back, firing onto you and having to take recognition and honor of that and looking inward of where am I needing to work on within. So this is very, very massive transformative energy because it's a lot of pain. It's a lot of, feeling rejection, right? This is very crisis energy, and feeling like homelessness or bad luck or feeling poverty, feeling financial hardship, feeling homeless, feeling really, really isolated and really stuck and really scared. So my heart goes out to you because this is really hard energy to have gone through. However, it is about what's birthing you into your strength. You have to sometimes fall really, really hard so that you can learn how to pick yourself up. You can learn how to be resilient on your own. You can learn who your people are and who they're not. And because what's meant for you will always be there for you. And so where you're feeling lost or where you felt kind of thrown away or abandoned or dismissed in many ways, where it was like elements, yeah, that just really, you just really felt like you weren't loved anymore. You weren't cared for. You weren't appreciated and recognized. And that's a very painful energy. So 10 of Swords is like a lot of endings and pain, right? Look at all those swords in the back. That's a lot to do with like betrayal. People perhaps speaking poorly behind your back because of your pain or different actions or reactions that were either caused by you or caused to you. This is really about the inability to cope and really hitting rock bottom. So you may have felt like everything just blew up in your face, way bigger than you could have ever imagined it to be, especially if you were trying to handle situations the best you could, or with care, or with love, or respect. And there's an immense tower moment, immense crumbling in your life that took place this year in many, many ways. And that may have been like even a domino effect. So, you know, this is where you felt like a failure, in ruin, like a doormat, like no one really cared, and a lot of dead ends and saying goodbyes. It's like nails in the coffin. It's just this immense amount of pain that you've had to kind of rebirth from. So in all areas, like friendship groups and different things like that, that you just felt so shunned out of. Now, Spirit is saying it's okay, because you also got the devil, actually. Yeah, the devil. So all of this is actually a greatest teacher, because the devil is a lot with your grounded and your rootedness, right? It's survival, safety, and security. So all of that being torn up, all of your known safety, security, survival has been torn up. And that can be really challenging, but it's actually because it was for your highest good. It was actually there to teach you and to shift everything, to being like, I am not a puppet, right? You were in an environment where you were no longer growing, and you were no longer doing the inner work. You were no longer recognizing where you needed to shift, perhaps as well, for your highest good. So your aspirations to come in, you have to make the actual physical changes and actions within your being. And when you don't listen, or when you stay or remain stagnant in the known, which is maybe not for your highest good, but it's comfortable because it's what you know, there's going to be a period of uprootedness that the spiritual world and the universe may actually throw your way, so that you actually can make those shifts and those changes for the better. Because sometimes we need to really crumble and fall and go through these pain elements that are really, really challenging, so that we can wake up, and also so that we can make better choices for ourselves, and also choose better for ourselves and say, I deserve a lot better than that. I deserve a much more respect than that, both within my relationship with self as well as those around me. And to really honor that you're not alone in that element, because the devil has a lot to do with like addiction and depression. So in the past, it may have been when you went through deep pain, you would hide it or suppress it. And when your feelings were hurt, or when you felt undermined or undervalued or underappreciated, you would suppress it, but then perhaps using something like an addiction, where it would all boil over. And then there would be this reactive, unstable kind of element in how you handled situations. And that's where you need to grow. So it's about wiping away the bad habits, or taking care of the mental health issues, moving your body again, really focusing on your own internal health and well-being, because in the past you probably didn't. Perhaps you overgave and never properly balanced all that you gave with how you healed the self, and recognized where the self was hurting, or where the self needed more acknowledgement or presence or recognition or even accountability. So this is a lot to do with healing the ego, and also healing like obsessive behaviors, sexuality, powerlessness. This can even be materialism, right? This is where like you're finding it really hard to let go of negative thinking, or you were in a place that you found it really hard to let go of negative thinking, especially through all this pain and this changes and this hardship. It can be really, the mind can be a tricky monkey, where it can kind of self-sabotage yourself, or you can diminish yourself, or have poor self-talk, or self-sabotage, or say, I'm not good enough, or everyone hates me, or this is horrible. Like whatever the monkey mind was trying to delusionalize your worth and your value, that's what you're healing now from. Because right after all of this, you've got so much goodness coming in. First and foremost, you've got the Page of Cups. So this is very grounded in your intuition. So the devil had to come in. This major crumbling had to happen to bring you to this warrior woman, to bring you to what are you answering your deepest calling, and you've been wanting to. You are a light worker for the world. And so this deep, immense, transformative element where you've had to look within, you've had to take accountability, you've had to do the inner work, and are probably still doing the inner work. Spirit is saying this is where your grounded intuition comes in with the Page of Cups. This is a lot to do with like love and comfort and kindness and intuition. Where can you pour more love into yourself, self-recognition, self-honor? Because ultimately, our actions and reactions to the external, even when they're hard, it's really about being the higher through it. So even if there was a lot of pain, even if you felt really alone, really isolated, really underappreciated, misunderstood, lost, scared, isolated, that is also about your inner relationship. That is also about allowing yourself to be loved, right? So maybe it's about also recognizing, are you afraid to shine? Are you afraid to really receive true friendships, true recognition, true love? That can be a fear as well. It's a unique one, but that can happen. And that is what's being completely alchemized and transformed in your life. You're actually becoming very resilient and powerful because all of this pain, all of this loss has only brought you home to you. It has brought you home into your own inner love, knowing that you deserve a lot more. You respect yourself a lot more. You love yourself now a lot more because you know that that is not okay. That is, everyone deserves joy and love in their life. Everyone deserves to lead a life that is aligned to their own authenticity, whether that's your own version of a family life or a career life or a spiritual path. It doesn't matter how you color it, but it's got to stream from your joy, stream from your happiness. And that's what you're now realizing in this new openness of discovering what lights you up as a starseed, right? And knowing your guidance is divinely guided. You are not alone. You've got your guides, your guardians, your angels, your ancestors. They're all standing behind you. But sometimes we need to crumble to recognize where we don't fit, or where we were no longer appreciated, or where we needed to appreciate the inner being and come home to the self, come home to the self-respect, the inner love, because no one, no thing can change you. You can only change yourself. So this is immense inner work, because the Page of Cups is really about, the quietness and going within, the meditation, the creativity, enhancing in your psychic abilities. And it's very emotional, but it's about being dependent on the self. It's not about searching outward. It's about searching inward. It's about the inner honor, the inner recognition, and just knowing you're not a puppet, right? Just like the devil card, you're not a puppet. You don't need to hide. You don't need to be afraid to express your truth. And you may be one of those fairly empathetic people that really is there for others or really wants to build others up. But this is now a time to build yourself up. This is not a time to always be overpouring, because if you're not whole in yourself, then you can't really truly be a whole help anyways. So this is very much a period of your life and your guidance where you're coming home to your own inner respect, honor, and sovereignty, because that may not have been felt by your environments, and you may have gone through quite an immense amount of an abandonment and pain and loss this year, and crumbling in all ways. But it truly was for your highest good. You've also got the Page of Wands. So you're finding your enthusiasm again, right? Because you're someone who's interested in learning about emotional interests, most likely, because you're such a feeler. And through that process, you will be that voice and that guidance, that starseed, that light worker for others. You'll be there to guide others because of your deeper understandings of true pain, true loss, true hardship, true suffering, true poverty, true having to no longer have anyone to rely on but your own self. So that's immense amount of strength and resilience, but that's also what brings you to this warrior woman, right? That's this crumbling, this mass amount of pain is actually necessary for you to even carry forward your work with strength. Because without the pain and the suffering and the true understandings of it, you won't obtain the strength and the resilience to really carry forward and meet obstacles or challenges in the future. Because this is preparing you to remain in calm and integrity and harmony with regardless of what you face through life. Because like I said in the beginning, to be a truly spiritual person is to remain within that harmony and the balance of self, regardless of what you're facing around you, because life will always be chaotic. There will always be challenges. There will always be hardships. There will always be loss. But how you move through it, how you meet it, is what matters. So this is really about a strengthening period that you're going through. It's really about you're obtaining your power in a brand new light, a brand new form. Because this is about being faithful to your guiding North Star, being faithful to what you believe in, and no longer making yourself small to appease others or to make others comfortable, no longer trying to fit where you know you don't belong. Because that only causes pain anyways. Right? True freedom is to honor your authenticity, because when you're able to truly shine your light of whom you really are, you attract all that really actually matches you, right? So it's really about that inner honor, because the Page of Cups is about having courage. It's about good news and optimism. Holding that North Star, saying, I am capable, I am worthy, I deserve better, I deserve to be loved, I deserve to be appreciated for who I am, I deserve to be protected even in my lowest of lows. I deserve to have someone be there when I need them most, when I'm struggling most. But it's also about the recognition that first you have to carry you. Because now the universe is showing you that you now need to be solid in you, because you're meant to be a leader. You're meant to be a guiding force and a light for others. This is about being an energetic, courageous, and youthful person, being that guiding light North Star for others that will need you in the future to carry forth through their obstacles or challenges, or through their pain struggles. And that is a beautiful gift. That's what makes you a beautiful being. It's about helping even in the smallest of ways, through conversations, through smiles, through opening a door, through a hug or a recognition, or helping someone when they're low. Even when others don't see it, Spirit sees all those kindness, all that element, that ripple effect that you gifted along the way. So you also got abundance with the Queen of Pentacles coming in. So all of this strengthening is bringing you into quite an amazing higher view, because although you may have lost everything in a physical way, you most likely have experienced a lot of loss, and perhaps you're in a very scary time financially, or even in all ways. This is where Spirit is saying, through all of this stripping, this crumbling of the 3D, of all your comforts, all your security, all your safety, your comfort blankets, your relationships, everything you've known has most likely been uprooted in some form this year. That was to awaken more of your spiritual. That was to awaken more of these new capacities within you. It was to awaken your inner warrior. It was the inner love, the inner reverence, the inner honor, and also the inner accountability, the inner recognition of where you need to shift, where you can be stronger, better in both what you're allowing yourself to receive, what you're putting up with, what your boundaries are, but also equally what you give out. How are you giving? Right? And is it with honor, with grace? And so and is it authentic? Right? So with the Queen of Pentacles coming in, Spirit is saying with all of this rebuilding of your own being, because really ultimately that's what it's about. It's about the inner being. It's not about searching externally to be validated. You have to validate you, right? As within, so without. As above, so below, and vice versa. Ending the wars within. Ending the self-sabotage. Ending that unkind talk to the self saying, I'm not good enough, or why does this happen to me, or why am I not loved, and why have I been abandoned, and how is this fair that everything has crumbled away, and what am I going to do now? So it's all of those elements that are being completely healed out of you, because now you have no choice but to take accountability within and to redirect your power into where you're meant to go, and how you're meant to strengthen, how you're meant to honor yourself so that you can honor all of that around you, and so that you can also equally be honored in return. And no more self-sabotage, right? So this is overcoming addictions. This is changing your habits and your patterns for the better that align to your destiny as a warrior woman, as a starseed, right? Where you're being guided. And so fertility, prosperity, and responsibility come in, right? The Queen of Pentacles is about pouring out your creativity and obtaining wealth from it. Creating wealth, actually, for the earth and for the planet. So not only monetarily, but also energetically and through becoming an inspiration and a marker of guidance for others. Utilizing your voice, utilizing these elements that could have broken you to actually strengthen you and then help others to also strengthen. Because when you change yourself, you change the world. That is more literal now. It's very important to honor that inner being, because that holds a resonance even if you're just walking down the street. You don't even need to do anything. It's just a way of being. Your way of being that holds more resonance in honor, integrity, uprightness, pure of heart, kindness, grace, peace, harmony, right? Then you become that energetic harmony that others sensorily pick up on. And you become that wave. It's like the light in the dark, right? It's a domino effect. Joy births more joy. Just like sorrow or anger or fighting births more sorrow, anger, fighting. So it's about reattaining your energy back into its wholeness, back into its truth, and resonating that in all that you do and everywhere you go, but also for the self. So that means transitioning it into your habits, patterns, and routines that align with that. Nourishing your body with the food you take in. Moving your body in ways that is actually beneficial. Healing, going within, learning, studying, growing, facing your fears, taking accountability, working on the inner being, honoring your inner being, coming back into self-love. So, because the Queen of Pentacles is someone who cares about the welfare of other people. So you clearly are a light worker. You clearly do hold magic. Your voice is needed. Your presence is needed in the world. We need you now more than ever. We need especially those pure of heart beings to be strong. So although your heart may have been broken, immensely shattered in many, many ways, both with you as well as external to you this year, it has been a gift to shed light into the heart, right? The cracks are where the light comes in. And you need to follow your heart because it knows the way. That's a quote by Rumi. You also got the Fool, right? So with where you're answering your deepest calling, the Fool is, it's time to embark on a brand new beginning. So, I mean, it couldn't be more clear, right? This is about innocence and freedom. It's about originality. It's about, travel and adventure. It's about taking a chance on you. Where are you being called to go? Where do you want to venture to? It's about being open. It's about having faith. It's about just allowing yourself to explore for what lights you up, what interests you. Open your heart. You have this brand new blank slate canvas now, because everything of old has been swept away. Yes, that is immensely painful. That is not easy. That is a lot of pain. But it's because you're now being guided to step into your calling. You're stepping into your true path. So where do you want to go now? Because you can't go back. The past is gone. Those individuals have made a choice to leave you, perhaps through relationships ending, or that home is no longer for you, so it's crumbled away. That job is no longer aligned for your highest good, so perhaps that's ended as well. The community you were in was not the correct fit for you to feel like you could truly grow or lead in your vibrancy. And perhaps you suffered there in some way because you tried to be something you were not to fit in, right? So although it's painful, and although it hurts and it feels very much like you were left out in the cold and abandoned and in a lot of poverty and knocked right down to literally the bare bones of nothing, to really only have yourself and no one else, there's a lot of help around you, right? And that's where this Fool energy has come in, because it's saying you are now free. You hold a freedom. You hold originality. You are your own unique magic. So now it's like, where do you want to build? Where do you want to go? Because this is about having that spontaneous joy. It's like that childlike fun, play, wonder. Where do you want to express? How do you want to express your gifts? What do you want to color on this blank canvas? Where do you want to go? Who are you? Right? What is your soul wanting to express? Because your guidance is divinely guided. What lights you up? Do more of that. You're very much in this learning as well as teaching phase, right? You're in this alchemy, rebirthing, uncomfortability, churning, like everything that was known, everything that kept you safe. Your security blanket is gone. Now you're in this in-between, this magical rebirth phase, gifting you the opportunity to discover where you want to go and to reattain that relationship of self, to heal the inner being so that your clarity can come, but also so that your exploration can come in. Life is a journey. It's an unfolding. It's not easy, but there's a lot of magic there. And you can color it however you want, but make it magic, because this life is short. What is it that your soul wants to leave behind? What is it that your soul wants to express? How do you want to be loved? How do you want to be appreciated? Do you want a family? Do you want a certain spiritual career? Do you want to collaborate with others? Do you want to experience new lands? Do you want to dance in the arts? This is a very special time where you get to discern for you, what would you like? How would you like to color it? This is a brand new book. It's an opportunity. Even though it feels intense, it's an opportunity. So it's all about new beginnings, because you've got this outpouring. You also, oh my gosh, and inspiration. Wow. And temperance. So your last three cards here really show that there's a lot of abundance and divinity that's coming in, really divine alignment. Because you got both of the Ace of Cups as well as the Ace of Wands. So this is a deep overpouring of abundance. This is true success, but it's aligned success. It's aligned with your true soul spirit. It's not trying to be something because you think that's what's expected of you or that's what everyone else does. And no, you're meant to express your own unique magic because we need more authenticity in the world. So many people are suffering because they are in places, spaces, jobs that they don't actually want to do. They feel they have to, but it's not necessarily aligned with their own soul, their own imprint, their own magic, all of the wisdom you've gathered from lifetimes, all that your soul wanted to do in this lifetime, to express, to be. That is what's coming in, because Ace of Wands is about new beginnings. There's a lot of new energy here, collective. So if this is resonating with you, please like, comment, share below. Subscribe if you want to. Even you finding this is miraculous because I'm so unknown on YouTube. But this is really about good news and physically starting something. So put your focus and your energy into what aligns with you. Focus and energy in the self. Focus and energy into your magic. What are you creating? You're probably working behind the scenes and very exciting because you're creating magic that's really going to be that wave for other souls, right? You're becoming the leader, and that can feel lonely, but it's an opportunity to really be powerful. That's why you got this warrior woman, right? Have you answered your deepest calling? Well, you're in the middle of doing that, right? But you're in that rebirthing phase. You're in that emerging phase. So this is about new initiatives, right? The Ace of Wands is like, all right, it's earthly. It's connected to Mother Earth. It is with the consciousness evolution of the movements, but it requires the inner work. It requires the inner honesty so that you can hold that integrity and that authenticity with all that you treat outside of you. So this is new initiatives, it's new passions, it's having urgency and accepting challenges, right? It's about having enthusiasm. It's about knowing your worth and your value, taking a chance on you, facing those fears and doing it anyways, feeling the fear and doing it anyways, right? This is where you only hold you now. You can collaborate in the future, yes, but now you're going to be strong alone so that you can discern whom you want to integrate or spend time with, but you don't need anyone or anything. This is what you're being taught, to not need anyone or anything outside of you, any validation outside of you, any opinions outside of you. The opinions and the validation is now within you. That is what matters most. And that is what's also integral, right? That also allows you to treat others with more integrity and respect because you hold integrity and respect within. And it's also about accepting the challenges, utilizing your talents and your gifts. It's about growth and action and travel and excitement. It's about getting in the game of life, right? And really living, liberating yourself in all ways. Because you also got the Ace of Cups. This is overpouring, right? When you're whole in yourself, you have more than enough to give. But you first need to become whole in yourself. Otherwise, you cannot properly give. We all know this, right? Because when you have the Ace of Cups, this divinity of this overpouring of wealth, this overpouring of joy and love and harmony, it's a way of being within so that it's easy to give because it's a joy, it's a want, right? And it's very about love and fertility and pregnancy and socializing. It's an overpouring of heart opening. So this is really special. And then lastly, you got Temperance. And that says, I know my extremes, now I seek peace. That's so amazing to close this out with this being the last card that poured out for you. Temperance. It's about balance, right? It's about peace. It's about moderation. It is about patience and inner calm. This was a part of your karmic learning. This is why so much shifted and changed. Because you needed to honor where you needed to shift, where you needed to grow, where you needed that spiritual awakening, that growth and that learning, that new perspective, the mirroring within, not blaming anyone, anything outside of you, but rather taking accountability within, standing strong on your own, right? Because time heals all wounds. And when you have harmonious relationships, it's because you have harmony within, tranquility. So with this temperance, you're now going to attract true soulmates. The temperance is connected to the solar plexus, will, ego, identity, knowing yourself, the I am, right? Your center sun. So this is really about forgiveness, right? Where can you forgive yourself? Where can you forgive outside of you? And where can you just allow the unfolding and let it go? So we're going to end with an animal oracle and just see what comes through, our best advice. And thank you, Spirit. There's a lot that pours out there, so we'll stop there. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so we'll just whiz through these. Animal oracle. So this is your advice, right? This is pertaining to you and the overview and the closing of this reading. You've got Badger Spirit. Be fearless and bold. Yes, Lightworker, Collective, Starseed, be fearless and be bold. Re-attain the inner love. Shine your light. Express your voice. The world needs you. The world needs your light. They need you. When you're whole in yourself, you become wholeness for the whole planet. It is vital. Your strength is the strength of all. Frog Spirit, clear out the clutter. Exactly. Right? With everything crumbling away, it gives you an opportunity to obtain clarity. Removing out the old so you make room for the new. Perhaps getting rid of things, perhaps downsizing, perhaps only keeping what you truly love, what you truly need, and getting rid of the rest. What do you truly need, and where can you clear out the clutter? Canary Spirit, sing your own song. Exactly, beautiful. What is your soul wanting to express? What are you wanting to emerge out? Because with all of what was crumbling away, this is such a beautiful opportunity and a gift to sing your own song, to write your own story, to realign with the true you, realign with your true essence, connect with others who really honor and appreciate your true essence, where you don't feel alone, you don't feel misunderstood. You are now free and liberated. Sing your song. Your guidance is divinely guided, right? Flamingo Spirit, embrace the in-between. It's funny how accurate these are every time. Embrace the in-between. Embrace this in-between that you are, from the old dying away and the new about to come in and emerge. Embrace the in-between. This is a magical place to be. It gives you the inner work. It gives you the time to really go within. And shift your habits, right? Shift your actions, reactions, your habits. Do better, be better, honor the self more. Self-love, inner recognition, inner change, inner shifting, inner accountability. Fox Spirit, think on your feet. Exactly. So you may be called to think on your feet, especially because, well, you have you now. So now you need to rely on you. Now you need to put in the hard work, the action, remaining resilient, using your intellect, using your wisdom. You are more than capable. You always have been. And Elephant Spirit, learn from the past. My gosh, so accurate. Exactly. So where can you take the wisdom from the past? Rather than dwelling on the pain or the loss or dwelling on what was, being nostalgic or grieving how much you were hurt, what has it taught you? How can you learn from the past in a way that it strengthens you, and it strengthens you with your relationship with self? It also transforms you in where you can do the inner work. That's a beautiful gift. Not easy. No. Painful, yes. But always a gift of learning. Even when it doesn't feel like a gift, it really is. So we're going to close it out there. Remember that self-love, and I'm sending you so much love. And if you made it this far and this resonated with you, then please comment some hearts or share your story, whatever feels right for you, because you have to know that this is miraculous and this is no easy feat. And if you have experienced immense transformation and this immense call to go within and to really reattain the relationship with self, then I commend you, because this is no easy feat. And it takes immense humility. It takes immense accountability and the willingness to be accountable, to recognize and to truly see where the shifts need to happen. And that takes courage. That is a very beautiful way to be, because that shows that you honor and that you're actually coming from the heart, because you're willing to shift and change. You're willing to do better. You're willing to accept better. You're willing to hold higher boundaries. You're willing to no longer accept what you do not deserve. You deserve much greater. You deserve much higher, both within and without. So much love. Cheers.